Hey folks, Nick Tockert here with Nick Knows Nerf. Pardon my disheveledness. We've got a few things to talk about today, and I want to get them out there before there's any more confusion or anything else. First, we're going to come through the door and we're going to have to discuss something that I found out a little while ago and I've had to process before I could actually get to you. As many of you may know, Rival is my favorite line of blasters. I my my favorite blaster of all time may not be a Rival, although it's in the top three. Uh, but my favorite line is, and we're going to talk about that in a minute because what happened is shortly before the Blasters for Books program at the Benton County Public Library, I I reached out to Nerf, and I wanted to ask some questions, and find out how they go about donations, and they do, and I'm sorry, I'm still staggered by this, and then ask some questions about the is the when is the next Rival Blaster coming out, because the Rival Blaster line is still my favorite. Well, I got a reply, and I'm going to bring it up on screen, and it kind of guts me. For the privacy of the lady who responded, I have blurred out her name, but hi, Nicholas. Thank you for contacting Hasbro for a donation. Our customer care PR department does not process philanthropy requests. All Hasbro's philanthropic, pardon my speech impediment, support is managed by the Office of Global Philanthropy and Social Impact. Regretfully, this department does not accept unsolicited donation requests. Thank you. Now, that was a bit of a heart wrench, but it was a long shot. Thank you for reaching, and they actually typoed, which tells me it was a real person writing this, for reaching out regarding the Nerf Rival line. We appreciate your interest. I am pleased to reply, but regret to advise that there are no plans at this time to re release this product line. I will certainly share your interest with our brand team. Thank you for your understanding, and we wish you the best. Warmest regards. Uh, what does this mean? This means I have had confirmation that Nerf is, at least for now, shelving the Rival line. This goes towards the folks who've been theorizing that the N1 dart will be the hopeful only dart that Nerf puts out, and it makes me wonder if the Pro line was intentionally self-sabotaged. I'm not sure, but it does seem like Nerf is looking to streamline themselves into a very specific kind of product that is very limited. They only have two or three weapons cores. It's almost like they're trying to do it with the fly core system. It's like you have the ward, you have I can't remember what the revolver is, and that's basically it. They're just going to go back and forth with that. They've got some the early blasters in the N1 line are not that bad, especially when you look at the Infinity and the what is it? Take Back, the Shoddy. Both of those look like decent blasters. The Ward is showing lots of issues, especially with longevity. I find that to be tragic, but it is something that we need to discuss. So, right now, I don't think any of the major brands are doing new ball blasters. I think everybody is focusing down on their darts. And I find that absolutely gut wrenching. I mean, in my soul, it wounds me because I think the Rival round, especially the new Acu, was it the AccuStrike rifle round, are the best overall ammunition type because while they aren't as accurate as some of the darts can be, their resilience really benefits the people who are too, who are not maybe financially able to reliably replace darts when they break. And I've been seeing a lot of the companies have problems with like just the basics of keeping darts, glued together. So that's something that I guess we're going to have to process. If you love the rival line, I would be okay with the canceling of it if they would do two things. I'm going to ask for this. Give me a factory rival hammer action and a factory rival lever action. Because those are the only two things that I have not seen as a mechanical firing system overall in the rival lines. So I would love to see the mothership do that. And I'm going to keep asking until they do. Now, I started with this story because it is kind of the grimmest of the news. We have some other stuff that I find delightful. And it goes into one of the reasons I like Rival. Rival seems to be categorized in that 80 to 90 feet per second range, which I consider 80 to 100 to be about the sweet spot for semi-casual play, which is what Rival basically was. It's the wonderful stopgap between casual blasters and pro blasters. And I do think it's an important niche that needs to be appreciated. There are also certain firing systems you just can't get other ammo types to do. Chiefly, as I held up earlier, the hopper fed systems. You just can't really get that to work with any of the other types. And I think that's important. But I have news from Busby. Now, this whole blaster summer release season has been interesting. The big discussions have been over the new X-Shot solenoid blaster, the AEB basically, and the upcoming belt-fed Dart Zone blaster. But Dart Zone's doing something else, and we're going to talk about that after this because there is a line, and we have someone in the chat. Excuse me. Oh, Botrix is correctly. Hey, Botrix. Always good to see you. But there's going to be a new line released from our friends at Busby. Now, I want to say this, and I will always say this. I'm not sponsored by Busby. I'm not sponsored by anyone outside of the Independent Creator Directory, which is right here in dcd.org, your one-stop shop for the best in the brass, authors, artists, and musicians. No, you did not miss that. The rest of my stuff go through my sales and from my Patreon for my Historical Fencing Guild. But I have had some dealings with the customer service at Busby. And I will say this. Busby Toys has not only the best customer service I've ever had from dealing with a toy company, a foam flinging company or something like that. They literally have the best service I've ever received. And because of that, because of the kindness they've shown me, I will never not keep them in mind because they do a couple things really well. Their adaptive blasters are easier to use, so they have the easy crossbow and the easy, I can't remember what, the easy blaster? Easy, anyway. But they have the overhead, which makes it very easy for people with coordination problems to get into the hobby. I find that to be important. But they're also doing something I did not expect from them. They have their new Mayhem line coming out. And let me bring this up. All right. The I forgot to bring my logo up. That's okay. Uh, you have the Ruin, which is a fairly uh, traditional, what you expect from Busby kind of blaster. Auto advancing 3-chamber blaster. You get to see the spring, comes with 3 darts, ages 6 and up. They have a double set. I mean, these are things you expect to find at when you go to Busby, you pick these up at Dollar General, at least where I am. Pretty good blasters, all in all. Okay. Do I see a potential for mod potential? Yes, of course I see a potential for modding them, but I don't see a necessity because they're filling their role. I do intend to get my hands on at least one of these blasters. The Ruin interests me on a few levels. And we're going to get into that after when we get into the second slide about this. Because you have that, you have the double pack, you have the Mania, which is the first blaster to show something I find interesting. The Mania is just an eight chamber Ruin with basically a T-pull and back. It really harkens to some of the older. I mean, this reminds me of Nerf blasters from my youth. We're talking from the mid 90s. And I love that. I love the aesthetic that Busby consistently goes for, because their blasters are always very obviously blasters. You'd have to work very hard to get a real steel confusion with a blaster like this. But it says something interesting. Blast darts 80 feet. That's spicy. Now, does that mean 80 feet per second? Yes and no. What it means is it's probably going to launch in the high 70s. Possibly again low 80s. Why do I say that? Because if you look at the next one, we have the skewer. So something really interesting happened. They took they had tried to rebrand the skewer as the Twist Fury, and they released it, and it's an amazing little blaster. I think I have one out, and I might have one in box. I may have cracked it because they're just such good blasters. Now, and given that they were pulled from design, from communicating with members of the community, the mod community, to make this blaster, it fascinates me. But it claims 80 feet, which gives you, usually they mean 80 feet per second. While that is rated 6 and up, I think that's a little spicier. Now, since I have one, unless they've tuned it down, this is a great blaster, and that was at a $15 price point at Dollar General. So I don't know if switching they're going to raise it, tariffs and all, but this interests me because when you look at the outrage, it is a pump action drum. As you know, a Villainator fan, in my soul, I will always love the Villainator. It's got a smaller drum, but again, you have that 80 feet, and then You have the Power Surge, which is again 30 dart, 80 feet. It seems like Busby, to me, is releasing their Mayhem line as a bit of competition for where Nerf should be, where Nerf should really be embracing, but with elite style darts. And the uh, the Busby uh, darts. I was just there a second ago, so give me a moment because I want to make sure I have the right name for it. But the AccuBlast darts are not darts that I have a problem with. They're basically a waffle tip. They're not quite as sturdy, not quite as good as perhaps the Dart Zone classic waffle tips, and certainly some of the newer ones. But they're right up there, and they're certainly better than Nerf offerings. So I am fascinated to see that they are releasing a line that, if it is like the Twist Fury, which is now being relabeled as the Skewer, looks like a sturdier, uh, just slightly spicier line to appease, to fill the gap that Nerf seems to be abandoning in the long dart uh, meta, because some of us still rather like our long darts. I, for one, am still a fan of a good old fashioned full length dart, which this is missing its tip because that's why it's here. But they're cheap, they're easy to acquire, and now, because of what um, Busby is pricing at, even though it's cheaper to order online, there's still a lot of people who won't do that. They won't hop on Amazon and just order, 15 million darts or wherever. But being able to pull a refill pack of a reasonable size, again, they're liking their 50 and was it 50 and 20 count, which means they can keep the cost entry low. That's going to make a difference, I think. I think they're seeing something that the mothership, that Nerf proper, cannot grasp yet. That being, darts need to be cheap and accessible. Dart Zone does it. It looks like um, our friends at Busby are doing it in the locations, because Busby is in places that no one else is. Sometimes I'm never surprised. Like, anytime I'm in a toy section at any store I find, I know there's a good chance of a Busby blaster to be there. Perhaps even more ubiquitous than Nerf these days. Say for the offerings of the old Jolts and things like that. Occasionally a Sly Shot. So I see this as a bit of a power move by Busby, and I am absolutely here for it, because whenever there's a gap in the market, uh, someone's going to fill it. Now, Busby in the past has made a really nice uh, lever action, and they did do a hammer action, but they had problems with it. The first release was uh, marred, and then the second release of the same blaster was a bit better, but that means they can do hammer action. So I'm intrigued to see where this Mayhem line can go, and if it takes off. I of course encourage you guys to if you can afford it, if it sounds fun, get yourself some. I will tell you, if the skewer continues to fire like its previous name, the Twist Fury, just buy it. I mean, that sub $20 magazine fed, decent to better than Nerf elite standard performance, but not, still low enough you can have your basement battles and not spike somebody too hard. It's very much aiming for that sweet spot, and I am here for it. So good on Busby. Now, there is one other bit of news that I've stumbled into I find frankly hilarious. Our buddies at Dart Zone are now putting out essentially weapon charms like uh, you would get in a video game, but for their blasters. It appears that they come with a little carabiner style clip and a plastic adapter that looks like it slides on Picatinny rail to give you options to hang and modify your blasters as yours. They seem to be rubberized by the videos I've seen, but the price of $9.99 uh, from them direct seems a little high for me. I'll be honest; it seems a little high. I would very much like to see that attention and income pointed at more and better blasters. Bring back the ballistic ops. Everyone, Nerf has abandoned the field of uh, rival caliber. If Nerf is going to give up a field where there's interest and you've already experimented in it, come back and do it. But how do you feel? $9.99 for a decorative charm hanging off my blaster does seem a little almost sus. However, they are kind of cool, and they have a little bit of lore attached to them. I'm hoping that these become regular releases that maybe rotate out, so that maybe next time we can put in requests like you know the little Chinese magic kitty the happy cat that waves. Just because I know some people who would just about lose their minds for something like that, and manatees are always appreciated. But I know what I'm about, guys. With that little bit of Dart Zone charms, that is all the news we have right now. Um, I am dabbling in designing my own blaster. It will not be terribly effective. I don't expect it to do well, but ground up, sometimes it's more fun to reinvent the wheel. I will keep you informed about that. And guys, just keep flinging foam, keep having fun. Just get out there and have some fun, guys. I love you, and you should too. And I'll see you again whenever I need to announce Nick Knows Nerf, or I get a wild hair to review one of my older blasters, or I find something new. Uh, I'm ready to get my hands on at least 1, 2, 6 of those uh, Dart Zone Buccaneers. If you see one, let me know. Yeah. All right, guys. Toodles.